Age of the Primes. We're finally getting all 13 primes in full figure form. I think everyone was either really excited by this prospect or slightly dubious as to how Hasbro were going to go about it. Welcome one and all to the display case. I'm Nate, and today we're looking at Solus Prime, Prima Prime, and Megatronus the Fallen, also kind of a prime. If you didn't already know, these three bots are members of the 13, original Transformers created by Primus and sent out for various duties depending on the continuity. On the left side of their boxes, we have some amazing brand new artwork of the three primes, and on the back, we get renders of each in their robot and vehicle modes, as well as little pictograph things of their three artifacts, the Requiem Blaster, the Star Saber, and the Forge Hammer. Each of these being a specific piece of weaponry or technology from across Transformers media. On the right side of the boxes, we also get broken up pictures of the Prime mural with all the statues. And something else I've noticed is that on these Prime boxes in particular, the white text that would normally be on the regular boxes is now gold, which I think is really cool, a nice way to differentiate the Primes from the rest of the line. And you can see that difference here with Armada Red Alert. With these being the first three primes that we get in the Age of the Primes toy line, I think Hasbro need to set the bar and make them impressive in one way or another. That being said, 2 out of 3 of these bots have a glaring issue, which you'll see more about later in the video. I can definitely appreciate each and every one of these figures, but I do think that they cater to a specific niche of Transformers fans. Not everyone will be picking these guys up, and I think that's okay, because we'll be finally getting the 13 primes in consistent figure format, and definitely based on their definitive versions. Starting it off with Solus Prime. She's based on her appearance in the animated series of Power of the Primes and her appearance in the Covenant of Primus book. She comes with her hammer, which separates at the head and the pommel so you can get it into her hands. Wonderful. For the hammer's storage, you can flip her around and pull out a little 5mm port out of the hammer, which then plugs into her back. I do like Solus Prime's sculpted detail and shape as a whole, but I do have 2 big problems with it. Number 1 is her feet. These are held on by the tiniest mushroom pegs known to man, and any amount of inwards force will just pop these things right off. My second gripe is to do with her size. Essentially, I really wish she was a Voyager. She's quite small as is, and I think she could have done with the extra plastic weight. Going into articulation, her head's on a ball joint so it can go up, down, and all around every way you want it to. Her shoulders are on swivels and hinges, so they can go all the way around and go out about 90 degrees. She has a rotation point at her elbow, and her elbow itself can go up about 90 degrees. Her hands can also move in slightly, and they're also on a ball joint, so they can rotate around. Something I wasn't expecting her to have, but due to the transformation she's got, is a butterfly joint. Her whole arm can move forward at about 90 degrees. Her waist can also swivel, and her hips can go up about 90 degrees, aided in motion by these hip flaps, and she can bend her knees at about 90 degrees as well. She has a second articulation point there, but it's more for the transformation. Her ankles can also go inwards 90 degrees and rotate around. I think they could have solved the issue with the feet falling off by having the mushroom peg be on the shin and go into the foot instead of the other way around. It also wouldn't have affected the transformation at all. Speaking of which, her transformation's not particularly difficult to complete, but it is hard to do. And by that, I mean the tolerances are really tight, you find yourself scraping plastic against plastic to get everything into its right place, and that's not even counting all the things that pop off during the process. This includes her feet and the little flaps that you fold out from behind her shoulder pads that fill in the front sides of the car. Her transformation essentially amounts to folding her feet underneath her body, folding her head underneath her backpack, and then folding up the arms and shoulder pads so they align with the front. It's very fiddly, and I feel like it amounts to pretty much laying her down under her backpack. Her car mode is also just fine. It's like a tiny little truck whose entire back half is made up out of Solus's shins and legs, and the entire front half is made up out of her arms and backpack. You can also store the hammer on Solus's little truck mode by tabbing it into the side of her leg. It's not the worst weapon storage I've seen, but it's also not the best. Like I said before, she is small, even against a Deluxe and a Voyager like Studio Series 86 Ironhide and Jazz. I think her size really detracts from the figure as a whole. She could have been a lot better if she was a Voyager in size and in engineering level. All in all, a bit of wasted potential here. Moving on to Prima Prime, or is it just Prima? Either way, he's a new design, loosely based on his appearance in the Covenant of Primus book. His overall look really evokes the qualities of the aligned continuity, back when that was a thing, but it has been styled to be a little bit more G1 and boxy. He comes with two accessories, one being the Starsaber and the second being an all-silver matrix. The Starsaber can separate from the hilt and rotate around just in case you want to display the matrix with Prima holding the saber on the other hand. The matrix also detaches and can be put inside his chest. I do wish that the matrix chamber itself had a more involved opening rather than just a flap, but it is what it is. He also has opening hands, which is amazing because you can have him doing cool things like holding the matrix. Prima's articulation is excellent. His head has got a ball joint in it that can allow for a lot of up movement, not much down movement, but significant amounts of side to side and tilt. His shoulders can go all the way around with a bicep rotation. His shoulder pads can move up and down to allow for a little bit more range. Not much though, a little bit over 90 degrees. He's also got a nicely rounded bend at the elbow. Moving a little bit further down, his wrist has in and out movement as well as rotation and, like we said before, an opening hand. His waist can rotate, going all the way around if you want it to. His hips can move up just above 90 degrees with an excellent bend at the knee. His feet are really good with up and down movement as well as just under a 90-degree tilt. His knees can also go a little bit backwards, which I like as well. I really can't complain when it comes to Prima's posability. I think the only thing that would have made it better in this case would be a butterfly joint, but that's just nitpicking. Prima's transformation is also pretty intuitive. You basically fold up his hands and arms and separate them into these two-part chunks. Then you fold up his entire arm assembly from the back, rotating his chest and folding his head in. His arms and shoulder pads then form the front bumper of the vehicle. Then it's just a matter of pulling the wheels out the back of the legs, folding the feet in, and then bending the knees up and maneuvering them into place so they sit behind that top panel. After that, you do a little bit of finagling to make sure everything is tabbed in properly, and then you're done. He's a vehicle. Now, what kind of vehicle he is a really good question. I'd like to say he's some sort of Cybertronian van. Either way, he scales really well with a Voyager like Ironhide and a Deluxe like Jazz. His instructions also include a third hover mode by folding the wheels up, but I don't think that looks super great. His Starsaber can also separate and store in the vehicle mode, the blade sticking in behind the top panel in between his legs, and the hilt plugging into the inside of one of the rear wheel arches into a little peg hole. My main concern with this figure is the plastic quality. It genuinely feels like it's something out of a dollar store, which makes him feel like he's fragile and cheap, things that you don't want from a Voyager figure at this price point. But if they gave him better plastic and more paint apps even, I would have no other issues. Okay, star of the show time. This is Megatronus Prime, and his design has been taken almost directly out of Dreamwave Comics' Warm Within storyline. As the only Prime to actually go bad, Megatronus comes with a few accessories. First up, his somewhat iconic Requiem Blaster. Adorned with a yellow stripe down the side as an energy glow and Megatronus's insignia at the top, the blaster can be inserted into one of two slots on his forearm and even one on his shoulder. Megatronus also comes with two other accessories, a spark fuser from the Robots in Disguise cartoon, and a sort of a blade. These two can be fused together at the ends in a little port, making a spear, which you can then easily pop into his opening hands. I love that they gave Megatronus these two additional accessories, and the option to have them separate if need be. My only complaint is that the spark fuser has a really rubbery feel to it, and it's not hard rubber either, it's quite soft and malleable. An interesting accessory they included though, is this cannon barrel. The 5mm port on the end can be folded up or down depending on which way you want to display it or have it integrated into the figure. Speaking of integration, each and every one of Megatronus's accessories can be stored or displayed at the back of the figure. I think Megatronus's most anticipated accessories though are these four pieces here. These are four excellently sculpted fire effects that can be plugged into any 5mm port on Megatronus's body. The instructions tell you, however, to plug the bigger fire effects into the outside ports on his left and right shoulders, and the smaller fire effects into the ports on top of his backpack. This just completes that crazy Dreamwave Comics Herald of Unicron Megatronus look, and it is truly iconic. Between the semi-clear plastic and the way the gradient goes from orange to red on the fire effects, you just can't pass up displaying him with these things applied. Now there is no denying that Megatronus has some of the best articulation we have ever seen on a leader class figure. His head is on a ball joint that can go up, down, left and right with a little bit of tilt. His shoulders can go out about 90 degrees as well as rotate a full 360. His shoulders also have this amazing double butterfly joint, which can pop his whole arm out from the body and allow for some crazy forward and back poses. He can also do a full 360-degree swivel at the waist. His hip skirts also rotate up, allowing you to move his legs outwards 90 degrees, forwards 90 degrees, backwards 90 degrees, with a 90-degree bend at the knee. All of that with some amazing forwards, backwards, and sideways tilt at the feet, as well as the aforementioned opening hands. You can get this guy into almost any pose you want. With all of his accessories, this guy is truly a figure force to be reckoned with, and it makes me wonder whether they could potentially remold him into someone else in the future. Megatronus's transformation is quite complex, but it isn't something that's going to take more than a few minutes to complete once you get the hang of it. Basically what you do is rotate the arms around, fold his hands into his forearms, and then separate his chest into three sort of panels. The back panel will become the front treads, the front panel will fold up, rotate around, and fit in between the front treads, and the middle panel will become the tank's turret. You then move your attention down to the legs, where the feet fold in underneath the rear treads, before you then rotate the waist around and then plug everything in together. After that, you get his arms positioned up top and straight, you get the Requiem Blaster, extend it and plug the barrel into the tip, and then plug it into the middle of the arms. After that, presto, he's a tank. And it is a good tank. He is giving Siege and Earthrise Megatron vibes by having the cannon between the arms at the top like that, but it's really okay. Something important to note is that the cannon doesn't necessarily plug into the top and the bottom of the arms. While this does allow it to move up independently of the arms, sometimes it eventuates in the cannon almost coming off entirely or the arms becoming unaligned. I also wish that cannon barrel could have been incorporated into the Requiem blaster so that there's less parts forming. But other than that, I think it's a pretty solid H-tank. His spear can also plug into the side of the tank using a 5mm port. Something cool they've also done is allowed the fire effects to incorporate into the tank mode as well. They look less cool here, but you can plug the bigger fire effects into the forearms and the smaller fire effects into the shoulder ports. Now it looks like the tank is also on fire. And while Megatronus does scale well with Jazz and Ironhide, I think he's more suited to bigger targets, like Studio Series Commander Optimus Prime, or Kingdom Commander Rodimus Prime. Putting the 4 primes that we have out of the 13 in a row in their vehicle modes, they look weirdly like they belong together. They are all different, but definitely present an archaic, old-fashioned vibe in a good way. And of course, here we have all the primes I have: Optimus, Solus, Megatronus, Vector, Prima, and Rodimus Prime in their vehicle modes. And jumping back into robot form, here are the 3 newest primes standing next to each other. While they don't stand shoulder to shoulder, I think the fact that they are different heights adds a sense of personality and perseverance to their designs and characters that maybe we haven't seen in the past. I think that as more primes release, we'll be able to see that difference in ability and diversity and in character that each of the primes has in figure format. While not all of them are excellent, you can tell where the effort was put in, and I just can't wait to see where that effort goes in the future. Thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it. If you like my content, feel free to subscribe, leave a like, or even a comment with your own thoughts. I'd love to hear them, or any figures you'd want me to review as well. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again, and we'll catch up soon.